everybody, and welcome. I have missed you. Today is Thursday, December 26th, 2024, and I hope you all had a wonderful holiday. For those of you that celebrated Christmas, I hope you really enjoyed it. And Hanukkah is starting this evening, so to all of you that are celebrating Hanukkah, I wish you a very happy holiday. So I have some fun tonight to share with you and how to add elements of text into your card design. So I'm going to be using two new stamp sets from the new catalog that's coming out next week, actually, on the 7th of January. So I am excited to show those to you. These are easy cards, but we're going to make one, and I have two more to share with you. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I am happy you found me. I hope you'll like what you see. Hit that subscribe button and ring that little bell so you get notified. And if you are with me live or with these busy holidays, if you catch the replay, I appreciate your time so much. And thank you for being with me. Let's flip this down and get started. So I'm going to be using two new stamp sets, and let me show you what those are. This one is Elements of Text, and this one really caught my eye because I love text in the backgrounds of my cards. So I'm going to give you some ideas of how to use this, and I've paired it up with a new stamp set and actually dies that's coming out. It's called Mixed Florals, and this has no sentiments, so you'll have to pull sentiments from other stamp sets that you have. But it also has some matching dies and a detailed die. So these dies match the stamps and will cut out your stamped image. This one is a detailed one, and I did use this one in one of the cards that I'm going to show you later on. We are going to be using this large stamp for a background. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So I've chosen to use Smoky Slate. I believe it's Smoky Slate. It is. And Night of Navy with some basic white. I'm going to set my inks there. So we're going to start off with a card base that is 4 1/4 by 11, and we're going to score it at 5 1/2. Typically, I would have scored this already, but I did not. So let's do that now. So let's just run that scoring blade. Now, one of the things I like to do is to get my edges even and matched up, I use the very base of my trimmer, and that allows me to really get those lined up and give it a good crease. And then I can come back in with my bone folder and crease on my line. Now for this, I'm using a background or layer 1, I guess, of 4 by 5 1/4 of basic white. But my card, or the focal point of my card, is Smoky Slate. It's 3 3/4 by 5. Now we're going to stamp right on here. So if you please sit back, relax, don't worry about measurements, cards. There will be a blog post up tomorrow and by the end of the day, and the link will be right down below in the video description where you can head on over and download the PDF for the tutorial. So I am using Smoky Slate. I am going to stamp tone on tone. And in another card I have, I will show you where I did not, and I contrasted it a little bit. Okay, let's ink that up well. I'm going to turn this over, and this is a big stamp. I want to make sure my writing is right side up here. I think it's this way. Yep. And I want to stamp this right about in the middle. So I'm going to lay it down and I'm going to give it a good press. And then I can lift it up. And let me pick this up so you can see. So very tiny script, but really a great background. Now, this truly is simple stamping for this card, because what I'm going to do is take my Night of Navy, and I'm using the large floral image, or one of them, from the mixed florals, and this is like a cone flower. I'm going to ink this up in Night of Navy, and we're going to stamp directly onto and over that script. So I'm going to use, because this is a photopolymer stamp set, I am going to use my piercing mat to give some cushion to the photopolymer stamp. And I'm going to ink this up with a Night of Navy. Now, this is a great stamp to color, and I've not done that yet, but it's also a great stamp to just, I'm using it almost, and it isn't a silhouette image, but that's almost how I'm using it. So I want to make sure that's inked up. It looks like I missed a spot over in here. So let's just re-ink this again. And that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to come in, and this is a big block. I want to slant this, and I'm going to lay it down right over my script and just give it a good press and lift it up. And you have a beautiful image over the script. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my basic white. Now, if you wanted to do with the basic white, you could easily emboss it. I'm leaving mine plain today. And just going to adhere my smoky slate right onto my basic white. I like easy cards. I love fun folds, but I really do like easy cards. And I like to find ways to use my stamps and my dies in different ways. Now, you could pop this up with dimensionals if you wanted to. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere mine down. And we are going to pop up our sentiment, though. Then, when we're done, I have a couple more cards to show you using a different, one of them is using a different text background stamp. And another one is using this one, but with a die cut. Okay, so here's our front. I already stamped Thinking of You Today. And I forget which stamp set I took this from, but wherever I took it from, I will have it in my tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this one up with dimensionals. And I'm going to pop it right across the bottom of the card just to cover a little bit of the stem. So this is going to come, and I made this 3 3/4 inches so it can go right across that second layer. And let's get that a little straighter. That looks pretty good. Now for the inside, I have another piece of basic white with a piece of smoky slate. Here, I reversed the layers. I'm going to layer white on smoky slate. And this looks a little big. This should be 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So let me make sure that's what it is. And it isn't. So let's cut that. All right, that should be good. And let's make sure that's going to fit. All right. Now I want to add a little bit of something to this because I am not putting a sentiment in there because I do like to handwrite. And especially since this is a Thinking of You card, I want to write a hand personalized message. I'm just putting a piece of copy paper over my piercing mat. I'm going to come back in with this stamp with the Night of Navy. And I'm not going to use the whole image, but I did ink it up. And I'm just going to come in here and offset it, stamping off the edge. There we go. Isn't that pretty? And we're going to adhere this right to our smoky slate background. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll add a couple gems to the front of our card. And it's an easy, this one is truly a SIP card, a stamp, ink, and paper card. Really easy and fun to do. And who said cards that are just stamp, ink, and paper aren't pretty? They truly are. All right, let's add this to here. I love gray and navy together. I think that's just so striking. Okay, so here's the inside. And for the outside, I'm going to use my Opal Rounds assortment. This has clear Daffodil Delight and Night and Navy gems. And we're going to pull some of the Night and Navy gems and just add them to our card. So I'm going to add one here. And then I think I'm going to add two large ones at each end of our greeting. And look at that. We have a finished card that took us just a few minutes to make. Now let me show you my other two. Now this one I did with the same stamp, the circle stamp. And I'm going to bring it up a little bit for you. But then I did that detailed die cut and just added that over that circle and offset it a little bit to the side along with my greeting. So that's that card. And for this one, I used this stamp here that's more like almost a rectangle, and hopefully you can see that there. I stamped that on a little bit of a slant or diagonal, and then I stamped in blueberry bushel right over that. I did fussy cut my greeting and I added a bow, and on the inside I did the same thing. I added the flower. So some easy ways to add elements of text to your design in your card making. So let me bring you back to me. I hope you enjoyed seeing sneak peeks of these new stamp sets that are coming out. I hope you'll give them some consideration and give them a try. So it's a good way to add some interest to your background when you are using die cuts. And one thing to mention, even though I stamped over the text, you can die cut, stamp that flower, color it, and die cut it, and put it on with some dimensionals, and you have another way to use it. So I hope you enjoyed these. If you did, please consider giving me a thumbs up. It helps me grow my channel. Also, feel free to share the video. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will be back with you starting next week, Mondays and Thursday evenings at 7. So take care and have a safe weekend, everybody. See you soon.